A clip of Charlie Kirk is going viral, being circulated on social media after Trump brought us into a war overnight with Iran, which we explained in a previous segment, and how catastrophic that is and could turn out to be. And obviously, after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, you saw in MAGA world him become sort of like a deity, this messianic almost figure, which was something. And so then I think that people are circulating this to say, hey, even the guy that you hailed as the epitome of what MAGA principles are supposed to be, even he, before he was assassinated, was expressing a very different view on this topic than what Trump is now embodying. And so does this convince you? Is this, I think, kind of why it's being circulated? Let's watch.
Let's do some updates about Israel and Iran and potentially the United States. On one side is the Lindsey Graham, John Bolton types, where they are actively calling for regime change. Here is Lindsey Graham. This is just lunacy. This kind of analysis is not helpful. This kind of approach, this kind of argument, it has nothing to do with nuclear weapons at this point. This is now that we want to go all in and take out the regime. It's time for us to close the chapter on the Iranian Ayatollah and his henchmen and start a new chapter in the Middle East. And that sounds...
I'll keep playing it to you. He's about to say this. I think he's about to say, like, that sounds nice. It's interesting how the folks right now rooting on war can't really say what they mean. They have to use this really flowery, what if we close the chapter on the Iranian regime? And you're like, yeah, let's start a new chapter of democracy and love and freedom. You're like, yeah, hell yeah. And then you go, wait. Are you just talking about bombing the hell out of the country? Is that what you're talking about? Oh. Now, Iran's retaliating? This always started without congressional approval by Trump, by the way. Now Iran's retaliating against all these different countries where we have military cooperation with, pulling them all into it. No end in sight. What's the end goal? What's the plan here? Oh wait, it sounds much better when you say, let's turn the page. Let's turn the page on the leadership in Iran. Just the quickest pause from the video. If you appreciate these updates, there's going to be so much to update you on, I'm sure, over the next days and weeks. Please do click the subscribe button. It makes a big difference, and then you'll know whenever new videos get published for these updates. Back to the video.
Sounds good, doesn't it? But what have we learned when it comes to wars, and especially wars in the Middle East? What you draw up on a whiteboard rarely happens. What you think theoretically is going to occur, there might be unintended and unforeseen consequences, especially when you're talking about a country 2.5 times the size of Texas. It has 90 million people and was an ancient and great power with well over a dozen ethnic groups. You have underground Christians. You don't really have many Jews left in Persia. But also you have secular younger Persians. Who's going to run the country exactly, Lindsey Graham? This sounds like Hillary Rodham Clinton in Libya. So I'm pointing to the first extreme right now, the neoconservative extreme. We must go take off the head of the snake right now. Play cut 285.
Be all in, President Trump, in helping Israel eliminate the nuclear threat. If we need to provide bombs to Israel, provide bombs. If we need to fly planes with Israel, do joint operations. But here's the bigger question. Wouldn't the world be better off if the Ayatollahs went away and replaced by something better? Wouldn't Iran be better off? It's time to close the chapter on the Iran.
Remember, there is no evidence that there's an Iranian nuclear program that is at all real enough, far enough along to pose any threat. None. And if you didn't believe me, I'll keep repeating this, believe Trump like 2 seconds ago, who said the Operation Midnight Hammer had already eliminated the program for years, and now months later, they're like, oh, but we have to go to war. And also, I just want to repeat, in case you didn't see the segment I did broadly covering what we know as of now in relation to this war. Then Trump comes out and says, you know, American lives may be lost, service members, and that happens in war. It's sick. Because again, he knows it's not going to be him or his kids who are being sent to die.
Iranian Ayatollah and his henchmen. Let's close that chapter soon and start a new chapter in the Mideast, one of tolerance, hope, and peace.
Okay, that sounds good, but that's pathologically insane. I'm sorry, it is. How do you know it's going to be better? Yeah, the Ayatollah is awful, but maybe he's one of the few guys that can keep that country together and not have a 90 million person civil war. Lindsey Graham is so consistently out of his mind, it's hard to even comprehend. Iran is hugely diverse. It is a massive country. Do the people agitating for war even know that? Because be clear, regime change is war. Just to understand, regime change is not like changing the head coach at the Chicago Bears. It's not how it works. It's not like a clean transfer. Typically in the Mideast, it's very messy, creates a quagmire, and then there is civil war. Do you understand how large Iran is? It's massive. It's a very big country. It's mountainous. It makes Afghanistan and Iraq look like a cakewalk. Just look at this beast of a country with all the different regions, all the different dialects, if we could put that up on screen. And then you have a major refugee concern of Mohammedans that will come to Europe and endanger more Christians and Jews, and Mohammedans that will come to America. No, that is wrong.
So again, I'm playing this for you because especially, even while he was alive, he was seen as one of the leading pro-Trump, Trump-allied voices, right? And the MAGA epitome. And then after he died, even more so. And so it's not going to be super convincing to those who are kind of trying to trust Trump here because they're just blinded by their support for him to hear me say this is extremely dangerous and a terrible decision. Maybe it will, which is why this is being circulated online, maybe it will be compelling to those blind, you know, supporters of Trump to hear it from Charlie Kirk, who had already addressed this, laid it out, and even as like the most pro-Trump person ever was begging Trump not to do this. And now Trump has. And it's wild because a lot of the people in the MAGA world, to their credit, have been saying they don't want this. Now, some of them will twist themselves into a pretzel and pretend like they do now since Trump did it. But I don't know what it is about Trump or who is lobbying on the pro-war side, but somehow he ended up making that decision. And I'm not doing the whole like, someone must have convinced him, so it's not his fault. No, he's the president. He made the decision, and it's on him.
So that is one extreme. The other extreme is one that I have deep respect and reverence for, because I actually think if we had that other extreme, we would not have invaded Iraq. This other extreme is philosophically important. It's important to consider, and that's the Ron Paul extreme. And I love Ron Paul. Ron Paul is awesome. I would have Ron Paul on the
He goes on to say, you know, I think you get the point about what people are boasting that for. Hey, MAGA, even this is what the most pro-Trump guy ever was saying. Does that make a difference? But he goes on to explain that then the other extreme is people who never, ever, ever want to do any sort of intervention ever, no matter what the circumstances. But he actually ends up saying, well, but I kind of, in this case, agree with that. And there's multiple clips. That wasn't a one-off.
We are just going to take out the Ayatollah. Oh, really? What comes next? What comes after regime change? Might be, oh, well, we need a small number of U.S. troops to support the new regime. We have seen this play before. Regime change, you have no idea how this is going to work out. You have no idea.
That is correct. I rarely agreed with Charlie Kirk, but on this, I do. And then it looks like even a while before that.
And so it's just like this war with Iran is a weird, fanatical obsession with some people in my party that are here right now. Like Senator Lindsey Graham, and it's insane and it's weird and it's destructive to our own country. And I speak about it both publicly and privately. And do you know who also is sympathetic when I'm saying? JD Vance. And so that's a fact.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the members of Trump's administration who, you know, privately and publicly cannot rationalize this. But they're silent so far. Tulsi Gabbard being one of them. And for even Charlie Kirk to have taken that strong of a stance on this, given his loyalty to Trump and it looking like Trump was moving in that direction, I think gives you a sense of how difficult to justify this is, how unpopular this is. Because obviously, you'd think that something so parallel to our past catastrophes in military interventions, where we literally have the president invading a Middle East country while saying it's because of weapons of mass destruction. That's like what this is, the whole nuclear thing is about. And then you realize it's a lie. Like, we're doing this? We're doing this again. We're doing this again. Wow. But, I mean, not to disparage Americans, you know, my fellow Americans too much, it looks like this is wildly unpopular. So it's not like Americans are blindly going, yeah, we should do this. People do understand. It's just Trump and his administration and a few people who agree with him. Very wild stuff.